Time now for The Real Estate Connection with Stephen Theard, a realtor and certified probate and real estate specialist. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer or a seasoned investor looking to downsize, move up, or refinance, this program is for you.
Our house in the middle of our street. Our house that you go to in the middle of our...
From probate sales to landscape design to home repairs and maintenance, this is your weekly look into all things real estate. Now your host for The Real Estate Connection, Stephen Theard.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of The Real Estate Connection, brought to you by Good Patriot Realty, a salute to home ownership. Hey, if you have any real estate related needs in the Northern California Bay Area and you're looking for a broker to come alongside you and walk with you in that journey in the next chapter in your life, give Stephen Theard a call at 408-472-0817. Again, 408-472-0817. And I would be happy to help you. California DRE number 0170019. And if you're new to the show and you want to get information about how to log on to the podcast or make sure that you get notified of the podcast, you can either follow me on LinkedIn or you can go to Apple Podcasts. There it is. Sign up at Apple Podcast and look for the Real Estate Connection, the little logo up in the corner where it says, where the little guy in the cowboy hat, where it says the Real Estate Connection. Look for it under the business section and go ahead and log on there and subscribe. And that way you'll get notified every time the show comes on. So what is the topic of today's show? We're going to jump right on in. The topic of today's show is the hidden dark side of Proposition 19. Now, for you that are following in California, that have been in the real estate market for a long time or just live here, you've heard of a famous proposition called Prop 13. Now, Prop 13 is a proposition that was put in place to protect homeowners from the cost of property taxes going up too fast and through the roof, and thus kicking people out of their homes because the value of their homes is going up too quickly. And the property taxes that are due to the various counties are going up too quickly in the state of California. Now, back in the 70s, property values were escalating like they do in California very quickly. And as those values went up, the assessor's office would come out and reassess the home to fair market value prices, and the property taxes would go up, sometimes dramatically in a very short period of time. Now, if you could imagine, if you're somebody on a fixed income and retired, and you're trying to pay your property taxes and the price keeps going up and up and up, you can get priced right out of your own home, not because of anything that you've done, but because the market has been going up too quickly. So Prop 13 came in and settled the matter for everyone and limited how quickly the amount of your property taxes could go up. But along the way, they passed other various propositions adding to Prop 13 that would give more advantages to homeowners from property taxation in the state of California. And one of those property taxes, and I'm going to my notes, so excuse me real quick. I'm going to my notes right now. In 1986, Proposition 60 was passed, and that was the first iteration of allowing people that are 55 and over to transfer their property tax base to another location when they sell their home. So if you can imagine, you've been in your home for 25, 30 years, you purchased it, say, just for example purposes, you purchased it in the 70s for $100,000, right? You purchased the house, whatever that dollar amount was. That's your property tax base. We are an ad valorem property tax state, which means the property tax is calculated based on the acquisition value of your home. And then it's adjusted slightly to for increased value. Before Prop 13, the value would just go up and they would just keep charging the property tax rate based on the value of the home. Well, Prop 13 limited how quickly that could go up over time. So they added to Prop 13 Proposition 60 in 1986 that allows homeowners over the age of 55 to transfer their existing assessed value to a new home of equal or less market value within the same county. So it was just county to within your county. So if you were in Santa Clara County, you could transfer your property tax base within your county. Now, Prop 19 came along and said, hey, everybody, we're going to expand it to anywhere in the state. You can go anywhere. So if you've been living in your house for a very long time and you're retired and you're on a fixed income and you want to move out of the hustle and bustle of Santa Clara County or within the cities of San Jose or San Francisco, and you want to go somewhere where it's quieter and more relaxing, and you want to buy another property, but because values have gone up so much over time, it's preventing you from buying another house just because of the property taxes, because property taxes are calculated based on the purchase amount of your home. So Prop 19 came along and said, hey, we're going to open this up, not just to your own county or counties that are maybe participating, reciprocity between counties to county, but the whole state. And it seemed like a fantastic idea, and they sold it that way. They sold it that way. But hidden within Prop 19 was a dark side. And we're going to get into that right now. Along the way, when Prop 13 was passed, other propositions came along that extended property tax protections for people in various scenarios. In 1986, Proposition 58 came out that excluded property transfers between spouses or between parents and children from triggering property tax reassessment. So, for instance, if you inherit a property from your parent when they pass away, you could then receive that property and you would inherit the property tax base of your parent. So if your parent bought the house in 1970 and they passed away, say in the year 2001, and you inherited the property, you would keep the property tax base that was established by your parents when they purchased the home back in 1970. And that added on to Proposition 13 in 1986 under Prop 58. They expanded it again in 1986 under Prop 193 that excludes property transfers between grandparents and grandchildren when the parents are deceased from triggering reassessment. So for instance, your parent dies young and the parent of the child inherits the house, meaning the grandparent, and they start raising the children of the deceased child, right? So now the grandparents are raising the grandkids. Then when they pass away, you would then inherit the house from your grandparent, and you would still get the property tax base of what your parents had, right? Of the house. It excluded it. But Prop 19 came along and took away Proposition 58 and Proposition 193. It completely gutted it. So even though you were promised in Prop 19 to be able to transfer your property tax base anywhere in the state, now when a parent passes away and the child inherits the property, there's no more protection. That means when that child inherits the property from their parent, if they don't move into the house and it becomes their primary residence, then the house is reassessed at current fair market value. Let me repeat that again. The dark side of Prop 19 is the disappearing of Prop 58 and Prop 193. So when you inherit your parents' house now in California, it's reassessed property taxes to the fair market value today. So if your parents bought the house in 1980, they pass away, and now that house that they purchased for $350,000 or $150,000, whatever it may be, is now worth $1,500,000, which is not hard to do in San Jose. You are now going to be taxed after you inherit that property at $1,500,000, the current fair market value of the home, unless you as the child move into that house and make it your primary residence. Now, you say, Stephen, what's so wrong about that? Well, most people, by the time they're ready to inherit a deceased parent's house, have established their own houses outright, have their own primary residence. They may have moved out of state or moved out of the area, and they're going to maybe inherit the house and build generational wealth and keep it as an investment property and then rent it out. But because of Prop 19, it makes it very difficult to do, especially in areas where housing values have gone up dramatically over time, to keep the house, because you're going to have to rent it out to cover the property taxes. And that may not be necessarily something that you can get done. And it may be too expensive to keep, thus forcing the child to then sell the house. So this is happening now to my clients that I'm dealing with right now. I have clients that are inheriting property from their deceased parents, and they're having to move into the property, establish it as a primary residence, and then file an exemption with the county telling them that, hey, I've moved in and I show proof that it's my primary residence, and then boom, then I'm excluded. The default for the county is to raise the tax. They're going to find out through various ways. When you report a death of a person, it's very legal. The health departments will send out notifications to the county assessor's office. They're going to find out the parent died and reassess the house. So then you're going to have to file an affidavit of death with the county. Then you're going to have to go to the county and file a homeowner's exemption once the property is transferred into your name as the as the child of the parent that passed away. Then you're going to have to show that it's your primary residence, and then you're going to have to file an exclusion form with the county to take away the adjusted property tax value from going up. And this is still being worked out, but I believe it's within a year. Don't quote me on that as gospel, so check with your individual county. But I believe it's within the first year, or it goes up. So this is the hidden dark side of Proposition 19. It added the availability for 55 and over people to transfer their property tax base anywhere within the state of California, but underneath it was a hit to people that are inheriting properties from their parents, and if they don't move into it and make it their primary residence, then the county that the property is in is going to reassess the property at fair market value and jump those property taxes all the way up overnight, and then you're stuck with a massively increased property tax bill that could become a detriment to whether or not you can hold the property as an investment property, and greatly reduce the amount of income you can receive off of that investment, right? The building of generational wealth and private property rights is part of the reason why people invest in real estate and hold it. But Prop 19 was a sucker punch, and it was a straight punch to the gut for building a generational wealth in California. So if that's your scenario and you have any questions about it, give me a call, Stephen Theard at Good Patriot Realty, a salute to home ownership, and I can help you walk through this scenario if you're dealing with it. Also, I'm certified in probate. If you're dealing with probate, if your parents didn't have a trust or a will and the house is going into probate, I can help you walk through how to deal with that if you decide to sell. I can be reached directly at 408-472-0817. Again, 408-472-0817. And I'm going to leave you with this today. It's our sign-off motto. It's Joshua 1:9. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. So be strong, be courageous. If you're facing any of these issues, reach out right away, get direction, get help, have somebody come alongside you and walk with you through these trials so that you can make smart decisions about what to do with these properties. It's important to have as much information on the table as possible. Give me, Stephen Theard, a phone call at 408-472-0817. And if you want to be added to the podcast distribution list, go ahead and send me an email at info@realestateconnectionradio.com. That's info at realestateconnectionradio.com with your name, your email address, and I'll add you to my podcast distribution list. And don't forget, you can find us at Apple Podcasts. If you're watching on Facebook, go ahead and thumbs up. And if you're watching on LinkedIn, thank you for joining me, and I hope you found this to be a professional presentation. All right, that's it for today. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. God bless you and your family. And we will see you next week on another episode of The Real Estate Connection with your host, Stephen Theard of Good Patriot Realty, California DRE number 017-00019.
This has been The Real Estate Connection with Realtor and Certified Probate and Real Estate Specialist, Stephen Theard. Licensed Cal DRE number 017-00019. For more information on this program, visit realestateconnectionradio.com. To contact Stephen directly, call 408-472-0817 or email info@realestateconnectionradio.com. And be sure to tune in next week at this time for The Real Estate Connection.